What's up YouTube, Card Boss here, where I talk about cards, money, investing. Today's video, I'm gonna address a question I've been receiving a lot lately, and it's a very simple question, right? Is it now the time to buy or sell Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch cards, right? So we all know that the new movie for Doctor Strange is coming up in May, so there is a lot of buzz that's building around these two main characters leading up to that particular movie. And in fact, it's normally the case when a new MCU movie or in fact a series is announced or launched and stuff like that. So there is a lot of buzz in those cards. We've seen that all before. Some prices move higher than others, but for Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch in this case, prices has been going strong in the last couple of weeks. Okay, so I just want to share my thoughts about whether is it a good time to buy for some of you guys, or is it a good time to sell, right? So again, there's no right or wrong answer for this. I guess it depends on how you, or what kind of perspective that you look at the situation, okay? So I want to talk a bit more about the characters itself. So we know that Doctor Strange is the main character. We have Scarlet Witch that's actually crossing over from her previous series and doing a lot of good stuff in this show, and I love the trailer, right? It's one of the best trailers I've seen so far. In my opinion, it was better than No Way Home. Okay, some of you may actually object to that, but that's how I personally feel. Okay, I am not really a big fan of both of these characters. Okay, not so sure. Maybe I guess superheroes are about powers, and this is a bit more magic in a way. It's ironic because I come from a Magic the Gathering background, but not a super huge fan of both characters, but I can see the draw and I can see why these two characters are being loved presently. Okay, and because of that, there is a lot of interest in their cards of late, especially Doctor Strange. This is his second movie, right? This is not his first movie coming out, and he's been around in the MCU for quite a fair bit. So, but it's only in the recent couple of months, especially when during the Marvel boom in early 2022 this year, where you see a lot of interest in most Marvel characters, including these two. Okay, and because of that, prices have, some of these cards have gone up, by like 40-50%, even double, maybe more for certain popular sets. Correct? Don't talk about PMGs. Let's talk about other sets like Vibraniums and Rittenhouse 2014, Marvel Universe, and all these, right? So there is a lot of incremental prices. So if you're just coming in and you're thinking that should I be buying some of these cards because there is opportunity for these prices to continue to go up, because we're still about a good 2 months away from the movie, so there is potentially room to grow, and I don't deny that there is still room to grow. Okay, so I can see why the reasoning of why you want to pick up some of these cards, but of course I would advocate to pick up the better cards, not just any Doctor Strange or any Scarlet Witch that you see. Okay, so but let's park that for a second, right, and let's move on to the other opposite on the spectrum, whereby we talk about selling. So obviously, if you want, there's somebody to buy, there's obviously somebody to sell. So somebody would feel that prices is going up. Okay, I've got these cards relatively cheap, maybe at least a few months or maybe a year ago, or maybe since when the cards were first released, and therefore it's time for me to cash out on these stuff. And there's no harm in that as well, right? But of course, some of us have this feeling whereby, have the price really peaked? Is it the best time to sell? Am I getting maximum value? Again, those are all subjective answers, correct? Even for a person like myself, right? Once I feel comfortable with a certain amount of profit level, I don't mind just taking off the table, fully realizing that there is still potential for the prices to continue to go up and maybe get a bit more, again, depending on your comfort level. So you can see the inverse relationship between the buyer and the seller. The buyer would say that, look, there's still room to grow. The seller is probably cashing out now because they want to take the profits, even though they fully realize that there is still room to grow. Okay, so where am I at on this spectrum? Okay, so the answer may a bit surprise you. I am buying and selling, okay, for two different reasons. Okay, and in fact, for two different characters here. If I was to own a Doctor Strange, right, I think that I'll be a seller, right? Whereas if I am in the Wanda / Scarlet Witch camp, I'll be a buyer, because I think that there is a bit more longevity for Scarlet Witch versus Doctor Strange, even post the movie. Okay, so both characters are right now moving on the same trend, so right, they're all going up. Maybe slightly different percentages, okay, depending on which card and when's the timing of the auctions and stuff like that. But both of them are clearly going up. But I just think that Scarlet Witch has a bit more staying power even after the movie, and we know that usually post movie some of these prices will flatten out. It won't continue to go up, right? And because the new next movie, whichever one that's coming up, is going to have more interest, and they kind of like lose a bit of interest for these ones, especially from the investment point of view. If you're a collector for Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch, no problem, right? You can pick these cards up anytime, okay? But for an investor, you try to like navigate your way around the different scenarios, and taking advantage of the timing of the movies is one of them, one of the criteria that you look at. So obviously, if you're coming in now because of the MCU, you're kind of a bit too late. You should have probably started back like at least a month ago, okay? But it's not too late in general because there is still room to make some money. The only difference is if, let's say, you were to buy, for example, $100 on this Doctor Strange, right? What's the upside? I would think that maybe Doctor Strange has another 20-30%, perhaps maybe 40%, who knows, right? But would you go with Doctor Strange, or would you go with another character that's not Doctor Strange, maybe for the same price or lesser price that has a higher upside, okay, that has maybe more longevity post the movie? And that's perhaps my train of thought and where I'll be leaning towards, okay? And that, surprisingly, that character, in my opinion, could actually be in the same movie, which is Scarlet Witch here, okay? So therefore, my answer to that question is twofold. If I'm holding Doctor Strange, I think I'll be trying to sell in this rising market. And for Scarlet Witch, I'll probably be trying to pick up more when I can, okay? And leading up to the movie. Of course, if certain card prices just goes, bananas, right? So not gonna go near there. But given the reasonable price factor, I would try to sell and cash in on Doctor Strange and pick a few more Scarlet Witch, because I do think that after this second movie, Scarlet Witch is going to have a much prominent role in the entire storyline, given her growing fan base since WandaVision leading to this movie, and think that there will be another one that's just going to catapult her to the next level. Okay, that's all I have for today. Do like and subscribe for future content. I want to bring you guys more Marvel content soon. Alright, have a nice day, guys. Thanks. Cowboys out.